Hi, MCC1789. I've decided to break this video in two because I just can't edit it down to close to 10 minutes. I've divided it into two subjects, private states and private defense organizations. It breaks down pretty nicely that way. I've kept the original sequence of your video, and the two parts are of approximately equal lengths. So, here goes. You believe that capitalism requires the state. I believe that socialism requires the state. Since we don't agree on this point, it is ridiculous to assume either one. If you and I are to understand each other, we must discuss the point, not just assume one or the other. This is why in our discussions I do not assume socialism requires the state. I'm trying to explore your ideas to see if I find any contradictions. I will not convince you of anything by assuming away your position. Similarly, you will not convince me of anything by assuming away my position.
You are, of course, right that many people called socialists want things which logically require the state. However, it does not disprove anarchist or libertarian socialism.
Did I say it disproves anarchist or libertarian socialism? Go ahead, hit pause, and go watch that other video again. I'll wait. Well, did you watch it again? Did I say that? No, I didn't. Now please pay attention. What I said was, if these socialists are also anarchists, then they have logically contradictory positions.
It may be that some of their goals as well logically require the state. If so, they are flawed, but this does not disprove the whole idea.
I agree completely. But if someone advocates things that require the state and also claims to be an anarchist, then don't expect me to be convinced by their contradictory position. On the naivete issue, I think it's naive to ascribe bad intentions to most people because it indicates a lack of understanding of human nature.
Are you now admitting that wanting more for yourself would be a bad motive?
I never said anything even remotely like that. Regarding the selective editing, I had to cut the video down to fit within about 10 minutes. I cut a whole lot more of my own words than I did of yours. I kept what was relevant to what I was talking about. Regarding the issue of goals, I'm not claiming that having good intentions is good enough. What I'm claiming is that assuming your opponents have bad intentions is not the most effective way of conducting a discussion like this. We do not agree that states, at their core, are private. We agree that they have a public nature. You've said it over and over and over. Now, I do think it's clear that behind the scenes, private interests manipulate states to benefit themselves. That is why I advocate abolishing the state, to remove it as a weapon that people can use against each other.
What I'm talking about, though, is why couldn't states, which are openly businesses without even a pretense for consent of the governed, exist?
Those are called kingdoms or dictatorships, and they do claim to have the right to govern people. On the other hand, a business that doesn't claim the right to impose their will on a geographic region isn't a state because it just doesn't meet the definition of the word state. Company towns. That is clearly a problem for anarcho-capitalists, or at least I see it as a problem. Regarding this, you ask,
what could stop this from happening with anarcho-capitalism?
It's a difficult question, I admit. But I think the bottom line is that workers in a company town who don't want to be there qualify as oppressed people.
In the 19th century, pretty much everyone, though not always company towns, agreed on low wages, long hours, poor safety conditions, and refusal to negotiate with labor unions.
First, it might be that they only looked like low wages, long hours, and poor safety conditions from here in the 21st century. Now, Regarding the refusal to negotiate with labor unions, let's look historically at what happened. How was that problem dealt with? In an anarchistic fashion? No. They passed laws requiring employers to negotiate with labor unions. Are you in favor of such laws? Are you in favor of people coming in with guns and making employers negotiate with labor unions? If so, then you're either not an anarchist or you hold contradictory positions. If, on the other hand, you're against it, then it's another point that you and I agree on. Regarding the so-called Congo Free State, you said,
doubtless you will point out that both company towns in Congo Free State were recognized by validly public states.
What? How can you even imagine that I care one whit about what states at that time recognized? You seem to have it stuck in your mind that I am a state capitalist because you think capitalism requires a state. But even if it turns out down the road that I am mistaken and that my position is self-contradictory, understand this. I am an anarchist. I do not advocate the existence of states. I oppose states, and I don't care what any given state or group of states recognizes.
Would there be something to stop a person who owned large areas from setting up their own government in this way?
The way the King of Belgium did? What allowed him to do that was the support of pre-existing states. You're proposing that an individual could set up a state without pre-existing states to support it? How?
Once any person has gained legitimate capitalist property rights over a large area, what stops this from happening?
How would a single person, now or in the future, acquire such vast areas of land and wealth that he or she could command an army and impose their will on people?